Draco was always so good against Zerg.
Oh,
Red
it's
was so good against
Outsider.
Protoss.
Ah, yes. Now this
Outside.
is the map.
Oh no, it's Outsider.
Wow.
This map is a tricky one for the Protoss for different reasons, but
Yeah.
Draco's crafty. He'll come up with something.
Now, I played Red on this map yesterday. He destroyed me, but he told me he was expecting a 2-gate on this map.
Yeah.
So, see if Draco does that.
Another build that's pretty popular nowadays, we won't see it on this map, but I think it's maybe the best to do on a high level, is the 1-gate at what will soon be your expansion. You pressure with Zealots.
Yeah, it was this interesting story of first Protoss has figured out how to early expand, and they got good at early expanding.
Wait, can we zoom in on the Overlord? Is that its butt?
Yeah, I
It's a
think
little
that's...
Overlord tushy.
Oh my gosh, she's got a butt.
I didn't know the Overlord had a butt.
All right, so we have Pylon on low
It's got
ground.
truck nuts on the back of the Overlord, man.
So curious to exactly we'll have out of Draco, but you know he typically does this kind of opening. Or I should say, Protoss typically do this kind of opening where they build a pylon on the low ground, and they have the option to go 2-gate. They have the option to go for Forge Expand and the usual stuff. But it's been an interesting history of this EVP matchup where once Protoss has started to figure out how to early expand, Zergs initially, oh, yep, there's the 2-gate. It's going to be 9-gate. Yeah, so this is the most aggressive possible variant.
I'm sorry to break the fourth wall here. Is this one mine?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to turn up my volume in here.
And this is nice. There is a small space between these two gateways where things can get out. But historically, it was Protoss figured out how to early expand. And what did Zerg do? They did every aggressive variant to try to break it down. So it was a very unstable period until Protoss has finally figured out how to really hold off everything. And then what happened? Well, Zerg players started to just expand like crazy. They would go, you know, hatch, pool, hatch at a third base, and then go from there. So there was no pressure. There were no units on either side. And then Protoss started to go, well, I actually don't need this cannon, really, because you're not making any units. So let me just go for the gateway first, pressure, and then I'll back up and expand, and that will disrupt these Zerg players that are getting an edge by expanding so much.
This is a build I've messed around with a lot. There's a lot of different variations of it, like, you know, 9-10 or 10-12, where you're like, okay, am I actually trying to kill him or whatever. The only thing about this is if you don't get the hatchery, the transition is super awkward. The transition when you're trying to get the Nexus up and not die to all the Zerg shenanigans that can happen is so hard, but it might actually work because it just so happens that Rhett took the base on the low ground. Do you pull probes with this? You bring like 3 probes or something?
I think you don't bring any probes. I think you bring at most 1, but basically, like,
Really?
so Protoss went 9-gate, which is a very low on probe, super fast rush. And Rhett went for hatch pool both on 10, I think.
Okay, he actually has to block the sun. It's like this thing.
Yeah.
Every time you get there, you have to block the sun. Okay, he does bring 2 probes.
Wow.
All right, apology accepted, day 9.
Oh,
we
he's
got 3
going all
probes
out.
now down here.
I don't know. It looks good for Artosis.
He's bringing out the drones.
Here comes the drone army. Well, so the good thing here is that if he has the Overlord at the other mineral patches, you can use that to Maynard the drones
he's-
across.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good call with that.
And get that to really engage with those zealots and just keep like just drone drilling. But it doesn't look
Draco's
like he's
looking
really
pretty
approaching.
good.
Oh, no, these are just drones, boys.
Draco's
not
They're
good.
just drones.
Draco.
They're just
This
drones.
is-
The mighty dragon Protoss.
All right, he needs to start pulling back. He does not need to fight that long with those drones. And this
Okay.
is...
Now, there's another little cool trick you can, for you guys that are watching at home. The Sunken Colony, the Creep Colony has 400 HP, but the Sunken Colony actually has 300. So if you are hitting that, and like while the fight's going on, you just keep the probe right-clicked on it, right when it finishes morphing, it'll suddenly have 1 HP and die if you've done enough damage, and it just explodes.
So you just bring it down to like 120.
100, yeah, and then you
stop.
ignore it, and then you just have your probe ready to click on it.
So Rhett has technically defended this, but this is a very unstable position for both players because no one really has enough money to transition to do something else.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is like was a story of my life for like a year when I was trying to ladder on
Does it block
WG
that
Tour
ramp?
with this. That doesn't block, right? You need a probe in the middle, right? Oh,
Well,
somebody
you
hit
just need to
something.
move him. And go for it.
Oh wow, he fit the Nexus there.
Yeah, man. Someone call Artosis, man. Get Artosis over here. He's going to be really excited about that. Yeah, this is the thing. Is it always looks like it's not going to fit, and then it does. So I don't know. I don't know what Protoss wants to do from here. Now, keep in mind, Zerg's like pretty low on drones. So even though
Yeah.
This could be deceptive if you don't play a lot, where you think, "Oh, I didn't do anything," and it's like, "No, man, he's so low on workers."
That was so many larvae that was spent on not drones. In the beginning of the map, Zerg just loved to power out as many drones, get another hatchery, get like 3 or 4 hatcheries up. But this is going to be really delaying all the tech coming out here from both players, but Rhett is definitely in a really awkward situation now.
Yeah, Rhett's in I would say the more uncomfortable situation. This just feels horrible as Zerg, because there are usual threats that you would see out of a Protoss, like quick speed zealots or lots of Corsairs. Like these are really normal things, but Dragoons immediately can just instantly win the game for you. Just building Dragoons and hit. I mean, look at the sunken colony that's at the front for Red. It doesn't defend.
Oh, you think he should go goons?
I absolutely think he should go.
There's this really weird
goons.
thing in Brood War where sometimes if they're kind of low on economy and you make a couple Dragoons, things start to spiral out of control.
Yeah, because you can continue to add Dragoons, and over time they don't have efficiency, but they have such value in this spot against Zerg because they have spent all their larvae making units. So their economy gets ruined. Yes, because you just instantly lose. I think Rhett is in a losing position. If
he does the Dragoon trick, then he will win the game because Rhett's turtling so hard that the hatcheries in the front. He's like, check this out.
Trick. He's just gonna shoot the hatcheries with a range.
No, but a lot of people don't know about this, man. Like
I guess
you can just randomly send it in there.
Especially if you watch most standard ZVP games, the Dragoons come out really, really late because the only thing they really are out there to counter are the lurkers. So
right, yeah.
You don't normally, like most newer players wouldn't expect Dragoons to come out at all because they're like, oh, that's a late game unit. But in low numbers, as you were saying before, completely super effective at this point.
That being said, we don't know if Draco's even doing that, right? Yeah, he might not be doing this at all.
He's just trying to force out some
okay, he's
definitely not.
He's not going for it.
This is a fine opening though, because it means that we're essentially approaching standard play. Robo Facility follow-up, so it looks like it will be a Corsair Reaver play, which is one of the more pronounced Protoss strategies on this map, or I should say compositions, because there's a million different ways you can do Corsair Reaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like Corsair, people don't appreciate how hard it is to do the pure Corsair, pure Reaver against somebody who's really good. But there is, considering he already has 2 gates, and I'm going out on a limb here, I mean, it's kind of up to Draco, but he might just get 1 shuttle with 2 Reavers in speed and keep making Corsairs, and then make a bunch more gateways behind this and tech up, and that's pretty scary. I've seen Bisu do that.
Tasteless, you're already down a limb. I don't know if you want to go out on another limb here.
I know, man. Yeah, exactly.
That might be too many limbs to really kind of.
Yeah, I'm just up here on this couch waving my arms around like a Muppet or something. Here's what I think I should do. It's like, Kermit, you can't macro. But yeah, it's this is going to be interesting though to see how this does. And now, again, when you do go Corsair Reavers, you cannot lose the shuttle and Reaver, and you cannot lose the Corsair. So everything is kind of tied together here.
Yeah, well, it's so good on this map because of those mineral onlys that you're forced to take. Yeah, because the Reavers can shoot right through the minerals there.
Going on that, the other really cool thing that Zergs can do here is if they mineral walk a drone through, then they get that double gas geyser to the left of where Rhett's got his third
Show
base
us the
now,
double
so.
gas. Observer, hit us with the double gas in the bottom.
The double gas.
In a world with 2 gases.
And it looks like Draco's actually doing that.
Made.
He loaded up a probe. He's heading over the top left.
Look at this sneaky guy.
Yeah, and then you can get kind of a normal expansion. You really do need a lot of minerals as Protoss on this map.
There's another problem. I think sometimes you have to get Corsairs against Zerg on this map because,
the airspace is massive.
And Zergs, when they drop, like Protoss it never gets there in time to fix it. So you basically have to stop the drops before they happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this phrase you've been hearing us say a lot, which is air control. And in a very simple sense, it's that you win against his air units in a fight. And the first immediate things that happens if you have air control is you just get vision. You get to see everything, and your opponent doesn't, because you just simply walk over there with your flyers, because flyers have the best mobility of anything in the game, and you just sort of kill whatever's there. So the only way that you can actually have a presence to see anything on the map if you don't have air control is to walk a big army there. And a big army can't just sweep the whole map constantly. Because, again, if you have air control, you can just counterattack, counter-drop. You can send Corsairs and Reavers to go kill expansions. So building tons and tons and tons of Corsairs is super important, even if there's no air units out of Ret.
Wait, does this go through?
Yeah, it goes through the top.
Yeah.
All right.
Great play.
These scarabs are on a diet. Oh! No. Okay, now, in case you're
dud.
confused, it didn't hit the thing it targeted, so that's why nothing exploded.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We
That
call that
could've
a
been-
dud scarab in the game.
That could have been the saddest panda right there. That would have been so many dead hydras.
But this is great. Just that one Reaver puts him on 2 base, and he's making a third. It's
Oh.
great.
Jesus, this guy has so many drones. What is going on?
Wow.
He actually just removed every single drone from that bottom base and moved it over. Now,
Whoa.
He actually.
Oh.
Wait, Machine?
Here.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Oh.
Oh!
Over the Scourge! Ooh,
Oh my
no.
god, so many Scourge!
Oh,
he got the shuttle!
It loses
No.
the
Oh my
shuttle.
god.
Let's get right
Look
out
at
of there.
Rat in this
We
game
need-
with
we
its
need the
serial
video.
killer face. He's like, yes, another one down. Draco already swallowing the goldfish this game.
Now, the
This
thing
is-
that's kind of counterintuitive is that if your opponent is building a lot of air units, you actually, a lot of ground units, you still kind of do want to have 2 Stargate Corsair. You just cannot afford to lose air control.
Can we put Draco back on camera? I want to point out now it no longer. Yesterday we joked because it always looked like he was holding a goldfish in his mouth. I think he's been teased so much about that he changed the way his face looks.
That
when
is
he's-
the worst thing. If somebody
know.
points out, like, hey, you always, like, when you play, you sit there and you just kind of stare at the screen
I
with
don't
your
know.
mouth open.
Yeah, I mean, it's the funny thing about streaming too is you're
Yeah.
always watching other people play games. I mean, I look like a caveman that was just thawed or something and brought back, and I'm staring at the screen. I don't look any better, but it is a thing I will not make fun of.
Yeah, this is very, very important to do.
Whoa, Draco.
Yeah, I mean, he's committing hard to this. Now, here's a really weird facet to Corsair Reaver is if you play against this composition, the counter to it is just a lot of Hydras or a lot of air, because Corsairs are amazingly efficient against air. Reavers are amazingly efficient against ground, but the Corsairs can't hit ground and the Reavers can't hit air, so they kind of have 2 half armies. So you just really focus hard on being good against one of the halves. So you see lots of Hydralisks or massive amounts of Scourge and Mutalisks to respond. So Rhett's doing this really cool thing, which is just you expand a ton, because Reavers kind of kill hatches a little
Oh,
slowly.
look at this.
Wow.
Wow. This
Well,
is just so
he's-
annoying. He's got to be careful. These Corsairs are going to come in here.
Yeah.
By the way,
He's
you
got
put
a lot of
you want to
Corsairs.
trap one probe and put it in the control grip with the Corsairs because it makes them bunch together because the AI tries to have things spaced a certain way, which makes it tricky for them to try to split the Corsairs as well.
Yeah, you see right there behind the natural.
And that's just like such an interesting thing that we were talking about before with the airspace. And he has all these Corsairs, and yet still a couple of Mutalisks got in there, got a couple of probe kills, and then just bounced away. Because there's just so much space on this map that you can just maneuver all these
Oh,
units.
this is going to be a lot of dead Scourge.
Oh.
That is a lot of gas going. That's so much gas. Yeah, he's even going, ooh.
But the way that you want to deal with this as Zerg is you just get a lot of Hydralisks. Just keep spreading.
And you
going
got to
in.
juggle. You got to do that Reaver juggle. Boop.
Good spread from the Hydras, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, this is why I actually
very
can
well
never get the
played.
strategy to work against somebody who's really, really good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you never
it's-
really want to drop the Reavers in open space.
don't you want to get D-Web with this, and then
Yeah,
you like try to
clump it
cover
up.
the area? And
Yeah, the Disruption Web is the one way to really get a big late-term advantage, but Draco's doing the smart thing, which is just keep expanding while Brett's distracted everywhere.
thing is, at this point, like if you're Protoss and the Zerg has this many bases, you're really scared as a Protoss. I mean, this is just there's so much you have to clean up, and it gets so APM intensive. And even if you're stamping stuff out, if the Zerg's fast enough, they seem to keep growing in other places.
The Hydras are across the map, so these Corsairs are going to get.
Oh
my God, there's so many
Oh my God,
overlords.
that's so many overlords.
He's not totally paying attention, though.
Yeah, he missed that big amount that goes down
there's
the
a drop
bottom.
happening on the left.
Where?
Nope, just an observer.
Yeah, no,
never mind.
the Hydralisks picked something off, so.
So Observer goes down. Draco's actually surpassing the Zerg supply. I might be wrong about this, but I feel like the Protoss isn't supposed to necessarily have way more supply than the Zerg when they're doing
Yeah,
this. Am I wrong?
I would say that you are correct in feeling unsure in the Corsair Reaver spot, because
Yeah.
it's just weird, because it looks like Draco's in an amazing position, but you just lose your Reavers and suddenly the game's over. So it's this weird, feels very powerful, but can also be very flimsy sort of style, because it's really expensive on minerals. You spend a lot of money on scarabs that don't do anything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
wait. I'm sorry. Did he get D-Web? Because we can see this actually at work here if he did.
Doesn't seem like
Do you
it.
go to the main base and see if there's a fleet beacon?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
There it
So
is.
it's possible. It's plausible.
Well, unless he's going carriers, which he's not.
Well, I think that was a 4th gateway, Stargate that just came in there.
Yeah, there
But
was a 4th Stargate.
He's really going with all these Corsairs.
Oh,
see, this
and
is
a
drop.
beautiful
Red.
drop.
Oh,
There's the D-Web.
Nice.
Remastered Disruption Web.
Okay, so Disruption Web says if you're underneath Disruption Web, you can't attack.
Yeah, you can't attack when you're underneath that. So what you do is you try to just utilize the space here. Oh, I'm so glad we get to actually people get to see this. This is not common.
Oh, not at all. This is kind of like the only spot you'd ever see it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's forced out on a map like this as
Or
well.
Protoss for Terran on Arkanoid. Yeah,
Oh,
see that
God.
like, there's so many Hydralisks on here. And note that if those Reavers fall, Draco loses 2 full bases.
The other problem when you're going Corsair Reaver is you have this little army that answers everything, but it can only answer one thing at a time.
Yeah,
You have to defend with it, and then you're like, okay, all right, now we got to go try to attack. And with Zerg, you can just split Hydras up all over the place. It's no
that's
problem.
so
Yeah.
true, yeah.
When you just start massing out so many units, you just start pressuring them in 2 different places. You literally just rally those like Hydralisks to 2 different places, and there's just nothing that they can do. I'm curious to see. Oh,
Now, the big
This
play
is
is
a
if
big
you can
fear.
actually catch the Overlords here.
Yeah.
Then sometimes you can win the game. But you see, Brett knows what he's doing. He's just going to send the Hydras over here.
yep.
Oh, he's going
going
for
for
the
the front.
bust, man. He's
Oh,
this is there's nothing here. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
We
Ooh,
even
look,
have
there's
lurkers.
two.
goldfish back in the mouth, by the way. He's focusing in here.
He
did
did
carriers.
carriers. He did go
Wait,
carriers.
Wait, this is a
Whoa.
madman. He
Oh
got
my
carriers.
gosh. And while the carriers are getting distracted.
D-Web.
Where's the D-Web? Where's the D-Web?
D-Web.
D-Web.
Get the disruption web.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
He's still doing
What is
okay,
he
but there's
doing?
no observers. Without any observers, he won't be able to stop the lurkers
Well,
from at
he's
least harassing.
slowly cleaning this up. And I mean,
No,
look-
the Hydras are going to kill these interceptors.
wait.
Yeah.
Go to the Corsairs that are south.
What?
Or
to
there
the
it
right.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And Rhett, meanwhile, is killing up at the top left.
You can actually de-web the lurkers, too.
Top
and they
left,
have
top
to-
left, top left of the mini-map. Top left.
Oh.
Yeah, there were.
Oh,
lurkers.
where is it?
It's like right there.
Where?
Right
No.
there.
Oh,
No,
there it
it's
is.
to the right, to the right, to the right.
To the right.
Put a box.
There's a
Select it.
box.
Select the
Or-
unit. No.
There.
Yep.
Zoom in
Yeah,
on that. That
yes.
is the most camouflage. It's a pothole.
They
Look
will
at
never
that.
see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does he even have an observatory?
Never existed.
I don't.
Yeah,
think
he
so.
actually
he
might.
does.
Oh, he does.
Oh,
He
no,
does.
there's
He's
like-
over
yeah,
there.
he's been
There's like
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
observers over his army. I'm like,
But
that's
Rhett's
crazy.
been really good at taking out all the observers.
Are there
every
any
single time he
observatories?
runs.
I don't think so. And there's like literally 2 observers.
There's
on the
literally
I know.
2 on screen.
I'm like, well, you don't need the observatory to make observers, right? Is that how this game works, guys? Some of
This
you homies
is-
like, yeah, you do. I don't get sarcasm.
Oh, he's
wow.
just everywhere.
Oh, this is
This
not going
Reaver's
well.
trying so hard to get over there.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, and that lurker's still there.
Oh, they're splitting up. Oh.
That's a nice split. I mean, this was shoot
Ah,
the
damn it,
shoot
damn
the guy. Yes,
Oh.
there it is.
And now
Well, if
that's
he just
free.
keeps de-webbing there forever, those probes can keep mining, guys. Don't worry.
And this is a really big problem because if you have air control long enough to get a whole bunch of expansions up, you can transition to carriers.
He
Carriers-
needs that carrier upgrade.
Well,
Yeah.
there's something really interesting about the carriers there, and that it's a function that really can only apply on a map like this. Is that once he has enough carriers and defends everything, he can actually rotate in a circular motion around the
Yeah.
map and kill all the bases. So I did not think he was going to do this, but now that we're seeing
Ooh.
things kind of add up,
This is going to be good, though.
Yeah.
controls,
With
right? They have
darts.
to eat themselves. They have to eat themselves in order to get their energy.
The thing about the carriers, though, is that the best way to beat carriers is if you're Zerg to have air control, because you need to be able to chase them down and to kill them off. But
So let's remember Dark Swarm here. Zerg's going to spam Dark Swarm on the ground, and then every Dark Swarm that's there'll have to be a disruption web put on top of it. There we go. Look
At
at
the
this.
beginning. He's getting in really
my
close
God.
range.
Get
Is he
more.
going for? Oh, okay.
More.
I thought he was going for a plague for half a second there. I was like,
oh
what?
my
My
gosh!
God, look at this.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't even see those hiders are right under that, though.
That's 2 carriers down. If he gets a 3rd carrier down, I mean Draco, I think just was a little overconfident
beautiful.
here.
Well, he just, I don't know how much
Oh,
energy he
good
has.
disruption
Yeah,
webs.
Yeah, he's
but-
doing a decent job.
He's got to run the carriers back
Oh.
underneath the
Gonna get
Hydralisks.
pinned.
Oh, there's another one down.
Go.
Oh my gosh, is Red actually going to keep this thing alive too?
No way.
No, he's going to hit the hatchery. And actually, there's a rule in Brood War where once you start to move the carriers out, you kind of have to keep like there's a real art to this to try to move through the entire map and take everything out. But I think now he's going to have to commit to it. He's kind of stuck in the bottom left. Like these guys are not going to go home.
Now, if you cast Dark Swarm, will it actually protect your hatchery? Or
No,
I was
protect
going
buildings.
to ask that, but I was too
Doesn't
afraid.
protect buildings.
I thought I'd be exposed as a fraud. Yeah, I don't know that either.
Yeah.
Does anybody know?
I know this because
Yes,
I said this very loudly on the
doesn't?
cast once.
They-
Then the whole entire
Machine's
chat-
shaking his head and rolling his eyes. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't do this.
Yeah, no, the Dark Swarm is for units only. Units
Yeah.
under Dark Swarm take no damage from range.
I said this very loudly on the
no.
cast
Oh, no.
once.
Did he make
and
scarabs?
People corrected.
Oh,
and-
no.
Oh! I have no idea who's going
Oh.
to win this fight. I think Zerg wins, I think.
Yeah.
Depends on the shot.
Split
Yeah,
up.
there's way too many
Well,
Hydras.
hold on. If he has Corsairs and Carrots, he can keep going around the map, taking out all the bases,
This
and
is
then
so smart.
Well, he's got to
from
pull
Rat.
everything back, though. He's going to lose his whole entire main base. And there's mutas going up at that top right base.
One lurker
Or top
with 15
leftish.
kills.
Top leftish right base. Oh, it's just one.
He's just trying to kill the empty guys. That's not working out. Yeah, gosh, Reavers are amazing if they're protected.
Oh,
They,
this is
Carrier's
dangerous.
in the middle of the map!
Dangerous.
Carrier's in the middle of the map! Play!
And play! Wow.
oh no!
oh, yeah, you got to keep
Oh,
the
he-
Corsairs with that.
Now the
So
main
the
base-
supplies are actually 132 to 119. Hydras are one supply, so you know this. Here's the thing: is I almost hope that now I guess it's too late. I was going to say maybe he could try to transition into some ground. The thing is, he does need Reavers with this. If he can get the Reavers, if you actually get those Reavers in the shuttles with the carriers,
yeah,
then
it's-
you're actually
it's
okay
hard.
against Hydra.
Yeah, I mean,
So the thing is, well,
Hold on.
Draco is. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, no, come on.
25
Get
HP.
there.
25 HP.
Okay.
Run.
Fly, you fools.
you can see Draco's a little flustered here because there's about 15 disruption webs all in the exact same spot. And this is really common because if you select your Corsairs and you hit D and click once, every single Corsair with energy will throw down a disruption
Yeah,
web.
this is very true. That's why, in all fairness to him, he needs to shoot down that Defiler.
I would love if he would just put like just 1 or 2 DTs out on the map right now. Like there's no overload.
you are
to this.
so handsome. That is such a smart idea.
Nick, every one of your games degenerates into you having carriers picking off command centers and DTs to clean everything
yeah,
up as
if I
your
shoot down
80
the
supply
scanners,
behind
yeah,
you.
man. That's my ace in the hole, buddy.
If he just had 1 DT, this Defiler
Oh,
would be
no.
gone. All the Dark Swarms would be mute. Like
Oh, there's a
GG.
GG.
GG. God, that was a crazy game.
That was a nice first game.